It's always interesting to see where people's perspectives of different fantasy races come from. For me, it was always a lot of Dragonlance novels. That's what I read a lot when I was a kid, and I was just sort of getting into the whole fantasy genre. There were a few other different things, but with gnomes specifically, whenever I think of the gnomish people, I think of the gnomes in Dragonlance. I don't really like the fact that they talk so fast, they don't even breathe, even though I kind of do that. But I do really like the fact that they were just so hell-bent on inventing, even if it led to a bit of destruction. And it reminds me a lot of like software development, stuff that I do in my day-to-day for work. We want to build something, we don't care if it breaks, we don't care if the whole system implodes while we're building it, but we do want the end result to be something that works efficiently, you know, looks really good, and we're happy with it. And that's how I like to have gnomes often. So their society is set up with the different sciences in mind, and the different kind of experimentations they could do. And the sciences, they vary quite a bit, but usually it's geared a little bit more towards mechanical engineering, architecture, that kind of stuff. There's still alchemy and all the other goods. There's medical science, which is probably quite popular because most of the different species would love to figure out how to stop these different sicknesses that plague their continents. But I really love the idea that these gnomes are just building the strangest of contraptions, and it ends up blowing up, you know, taking out half their house. But as a community, they're all like, well, hey, you almost had it, buddy, try again. And then they help out. They help out rebuilding homes, making homes better, and there would be a lot of improvement that is built into the culture, right? Hey, my house got blown up from one of the things I was trying to build, and your neighbors would be like, that's wild. Hey, I'm actually really good with architecture. Let me help you rebuild your home, or reinforce it, so that any of this kind of stuff happens again, you should have a lot more of the structure still intact. There's going to be some damage, what can you do? And so there would be a lot of that, right? The community itself would be tight-knit in the sense that they all want to help each other while also improving their own skills. It's kind of like, you know, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Not like the dwarven communities that I always view as more of like a very tight-knit union type. This one is a little bit more of the scientific endeavor. We're all working to achieve our own goals, but our goals are often overlapping. And that's a great thing. We can help each other out in this process. On the flip side of this, I imagine in gnomish culture, there is a lot of heavy rivalry, because when you have people who are so ambitious in the sciences, like if you go actually read a lot of papers that are submitted from like different physicists and stuff, they'll be a little sassy in those papers. They'll be a little snarky towards fellows out in the community. They'll have like little rivalries and ambitions that are going and clashing. It's a lot of fun. So I feel like gnomes would be very similar. They would have people in the same field that they're trying to compete with, and there would be a lot of like sass around that. There would be a lot of competitions, maybe even big shows and fairs where everyone's showing off their stuff, and these gnomes are competing against one another to try to prove their ideas in the field, their stance, all that kind of stuff. A lot of research papers everywhere. I imagine that bookkeeping would probably be a pretty big thing in gnomish society, because you would have all these papers being submitted, everything being peer-reviewed, going through the scientific process, which would be absolutely lovely. So yeah, whenever I think about gnomes, it often starts off in the Dragonlance theorem, and then it sort of just bleeds into how real life works with the different sciences and gnomes' ambitious, ever-moving forward society. What do you think about gnomes? Where did the idea of gnomish culture start for you? Or is it very similar? Is it radically different? Let me know in the comments below. Bye now.